guys, welcome to another episode of Morning Tea. I know it has been a little bit, been a while since I have recorded something. It's just the way it be sometimes. Today's tea is green tea. I actually had another bag in here. It was organic ginger pear white tea. I mixed it with the green tea. I am running on about 5 hours of sleep, so this may not be a coherent one. I'm gonna try to be as coherent as possible. First and foremost, I feel so bad. Bobby Christina's in a coma, and I just finished talking about her a couple weeks ago in another video, and I'm sad now. I feel bad. I hope she's okay, and I hope that she comes out of this okay. Talk about, what are we gonna talk about? Just a mix of things. This is gonna go off the dome. So happy Black History Month, you guys. It's February. Let me tell you about February when growing up. February is my favorite month because it was Black History Month, and I loved all the Black television that they would show on TV. Like, I feel like Black History Month is when they showed Shaka Zulu. Black History Month is when they showed Roots. You know, Black History Month is when they showed all those Black movies that, you know, you've seen and loved growing up. A Soldier Story, Glory. Mainly it was movies in the 80s, The Color Purple. They did a lot of quality programming, you know, and I used to be on the BET watching all the shows. Now, I don't watch BET at all, except for Being Mary Jane. BET, rest in peace. Talking about that, I decided for this month that whenever I put a video up, I'm going to give you a little bit of tidbit about Black American history, since it's Black History Month and we don't get taught Black history. So I'm going to give you a little bit of Blackstory. Today's person that I'm going to talk about is Garrett Morgan. Garrett Morgan is an inventor. He invented two really awesome things, and then one awesome thing, I guess, if you're into that. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing he invented was the gas mask. He sort of revolutionized the idea of what a gas mask was and changed it from what it was, where it kind of worked and it only worked in certain circumstances, to where it worked all the time. He took advantage of the fact that a lot of the clean air was at the bottom whenever you're inside of an enclosed area. You know how they tell you, like, when you're in a fire to crawl, because that's where the clean air is. So he had a tube extended from the mask down to the ground so that it can pull up the fresh air. And he also had a filter system that he used a wet sponge in the filter so that it filtered all of the bad stuff and the smoke that you could die when you inhale. And so what finally solidified his safety hood, that's what it was called, there was a big fire underneath Lake Erie, a big tunnel explosion in 1916 under Lake Erie, and he and his brother and a volunteer went in to rescue the people and brought them out. Actually, they had sent two rescue teams in, or two people in before, to rescue, and they never came out. So they finally called him, and he showed up, and even then people didn't want to go in with his masks because I'm sure he was the wrong skin tone. Him and his brother and a volunteer went in, and they pulled out the original rescue team, and they went in and saved a couple more people. And so that is what really, I mean, he already had the patent on it, but that is what took it to another level for him. He modernized the traffic light. Now, there were two other people before him who, the first person who is originally named the inventor of the stoplight was J.P. Knight, and it's a British man, and the stoplight that he built was made from gas. So this was in the 1800s when they were still using gas, and they weren't using electricity yet. And he put it in London. It was only in a couple spots. The main spot that it was in one area in London, and it ended up blowing up and hurting a police officer. So they were like, let's take that down, you know? And then another guy did it. His name was Lester Wire, and he did it in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it was electric. So that was his new thing. His new thing is that he made it electric. Now, in 1922, Garrett Morgan, he witnessed a serious car accident in Chicago, and so he was like, we got to do better than this. So he actually developed what is the handheld one that I think we all see in, oh, my computer almost fell. The handheld one, or the one that's operated by a person, which I think they were probably all operated by people before this, but if you've seen Harlem Nights, you know how they have the operator who's doing the street lights. I believe that that is what he invented. It was a hand crank mechanical sign system using signs that could be switched relatively easy by a traffic control officer. So it's like it had stop, it had go, it had like all stop so that all the traffic would stop and people could walk, could cross the street. And it had like a caution, like what we would consider a yellow. It had something like that, to where people knew that the traffic control person wasn't there, and then they knew they had to stop and like look to the right before proceeding. So because of his invention and because of his adding of that mechanical ease to it in 1922, we now have what we currently use here in the States, electrical, the three light system here in the United States. The last thing he got was he discovered a way of straightening hair. And this is the one where I'm just like, I don't know. He used an experimental liquid that gave sewing machine needle a high polish and prevented the needle from scorching the fabric when it was sewn. So in 1905, he accidentally discovered a liquid that was used for straightening hair, and he made a comb to go along with it. I'm going to go on ahead and say that Mr. Morgan was super busy. He had a sewing machine repair shop. He had a shoe repair shop. You know, he had a lot of hats on, and he was a very ambitious entrepreneur, Black man in the late 1800s to the early 1900s. He died in 1963 at the age of 86. So Garrett Morgan, if your kids have, you know, projects to do and they need to do a project on someone, Garrett Morgan seems like a really cool guy to check out. Black inventor and entrepreneur. So the next thing I want to talk about, girl, is Scandal. Scandal, child. Scandal is like, if you were off Scandal because it was ridiculous, like, you might want to come back, because the ridiculousness is ridiculous still. Like, it's a crazy soap opera, but it's now getting really good. Like, it's good. Like, it's good. Just push through. You know what you should do? The episodes or the seasons that you couldn't watch, forge through them on Netflix. Just binge watch them, get through it. Because this season, like this new, whatever this is that happened, the mid-season revamp or whatever it is like, the first episode I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? The second episode, I'm like, oh my God. All right. All right. So that's all I gotta say about Scandal. I haven't spoken about Empire because I don't know. It's like I like it, but I don't like it. There's a lot of things like acting-wise, like that I'm just like, ooh, but Taraji is killing it. Fashion-wise, I'm like, okay, but Taraji is killing it. And like, there's a lot of things. Like, it's like a guilty pleasure, but it's not that pleasurable. It's a guilty kind of pleasure, you know? I'm 2 episodes behind because I'm just like, ugh, I feel kind of dirty after I watch it. I feel kind of cheap after I watch it, because it's like, right, this is the perfect show. Like, I would love to be on this show, but obviously they only want 2 or 3 dark-skinned people on the show, and I'm feeling a little ways about that. And then, like, Gabourey Sidibe, like, I'm happy for her, but I just, like, I don't know. I like her and things. I just don't like the way they're dressing her. I don't like that wig on her. I feel like it's like the Black Nashville. Like, I don't think the songs are all that awesome. But, you know, maybe it'll get better. I think it's also because I don't like Terrence Howard. Like, I just am like, he's not a likable character. He's not a likable person. I don't like him as an actor or as a person. I don't know him, but he's like grown man Chris Brown to me, and I'm like not into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not into that. Oh girl, ISIS. Oh, so there's so much happening, you guys, in this world as far as like ISIS goes and the jihadists. Like, for those of you who don't know what they mean when they say jihadist, jihad, Jihad, is a holy war. There are people who are in support of a holy war. They feel a holy war specifically within Islam against other religions or against other factions or what have you. And so when they refer to people as being jihadists, they're people who support a holy war. I mean, the last holy war we really had, as far as I know, besides the little genocides that happened all over the world, was the Catholicist one, the one with Joan of Arc and all these people like going around just literally killing people who aren't Catholic. I mean, it's not like it's a new thing, but it's definitely a new thing in the modern world. On Tuesday, a Jordanian pilot burned alive a pilot, you know, and then like sent it and put it on the internet, and Fox News had it on its website. Anyone can view it, of them burning this person alive. And the Jordan pilot was captured a couple of months ago, and then recently a videotape was released of them burning him alive. So Jordan retaliated on Wednesday by killing 2 ISIS hostages that they had, and then sending fighter pilots and bombing known ISIS areas. The problem with ISIS is that they're not out in the desert like by themselves. They're around people. They have like their families with them and stuff, and kids, and it's crazy. So now they're saying that because Jordan attacked them, that a young American woman was killed and it's Jordan's fault. And Jordan is saying it's just a PR stunt, America, like chill. I mean, can you imagine? Could you imagine? Like, I'm just using this group of people because this is the only like radical faction of people that I can think of right now off the top of my head, and not even radical, like they just want to live their lives. But could you imagine if like the Mormon fundamentalists like decided that they wanted to wage holy war on this country? Like, what if like some Mormon fundamentalist group in like the Colorado mountains like just got a hold of weapons of mass destruction and just started like bombing things, like bombing up like other states, bombing Canada, bombing Mexico? Like, what if they just started doing that? And then like now we have this internal struggle that's gone international, and we have to like figure it out. I mean, the difference is that obviously Colorado isn't its own country, but you know, and whatnot, so it's all internal. But you get what I'm saying? Like, how do you root this thing out? How do you do that when the people are surrounded by people who don't believe what they believe, and they're just like doing things like from and like how are these countries? How are the countries surrounding the Syrian ISIS people, surrounding like, you know, the people in Afghanistan, like who are like it's like there's ISIS, and then there was the Taliban, like there's all kinds of stuff going on constantly, and it's like so confusing and it's so overwhelming, and it's happening, and we should be like totally aware of it, but we're not. We're totally distracted by other things. And I'm not going to say we're, because there's some of you who might be completely up on what's going on over there, but I'm not. I have a friend who's Syrian, and like she's constantly posting things about it, and I'm just like, it's a lot to take in and then to not like worry about. You know what I'm saying? So what part of my challenge for 2015 is to be more knowledgeable about what's happening in the world and still be able to focus on me, because a lot of times like I get like, oh my god, they're killing people, Boko Haram is killing children, and then like, oh my god, ISIS is killing children. Like I get like, my world is nothing, there are people who are suffering far more than me. And then, you know, I go to Starbucks and they run out of chai, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, and I get so annoyed with myself when I like start complaining about things like that. So I think that's it. That's all I had to talk about today in morning tea. I went over a lot. Was there anything else? That's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. I hope you're having an amazing Black History Month so far. I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day. If I don't talk to you before then, which I'm sure I will, because Valentine's is a week from now, right? I've never celebrated Valentine's Day. The closest I've come to celebrating Valentine's Day is my mom buying me gifts. My mom used to buy us gifts for Valentine's Day. So, but I guess I have to do a tutorial about it, because that's what's trending on YouTube. Valentine's Day makeup look! Yay! Alright, thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye!